from Hollywood and the four corners of the world. You asked for it. Starring Rich Little. Here's the star of You Asked For It, Rich Little.
Thank you, and welcome to the only show on television that takes you around the world in 30 minutes because you asked for it. You'll see delicate tricks by a mechanical monster tonight, a giant holy shrine of Australia, and much, much more. But first, a man who chirps, tweets, and twitters to our feathered friends and is understood because he speaks more than 300 bird languages. Because you asked for it, Mrs. James Edwards of Loveland, Colorado, we flew our Alana Davis to Texas to meet Dave McKelvey of the San Antonio Zoo, who has learned to talk to the birds.
When Dave McKelvey makes his morning rounds around the zoo, he gets some unusual responses when he says hello to his charges.
Dave has assembled 317 species at the aviary, totaling more than 1,500 birds.
Look at that!
That's the universal distress call of the mallard-like ducks, and it caused pandemonium among our young waterfowl.
One of Dave's favorite birds is the whooping crane, and extra care must be taken in approaching them because they are so highly excitable.
Do you think they know we're not cranes?
Oh, I'm quite sure they know we're not cranes, but they also know that we're not predators as well.
Oh, okay.
Now, I will challenge him like another crane.
Uh-huh.
That's one of the few bird calls I do better than the bird.
Kookaburras have been in every jungle movie ever made, whether in India, Africa, or South America. Now, if that's quite a feat for a bird who's never lived anywhere except Australia, it's because their unusual call lends an exotic air to any locale. Just listen.
Birds don't have the sort of language that would allow me to discuss the Vietnam situation with them or something like this, but I can tell them that I'm a lovely young female, or that I've found food, or that I'm frightened of a predator, or that I'm intruding on their territory.
So anybody really could learn this. I mean, you have a wonderful aptitude for
Yeah, I
for
think
the
I
sounds of
have
things.
particularly developed muscles in my larynx through practice. Anyone could, even you could learn to imitate a bird.
Like what?
Yeah, like
What-
a pigeon.
Okay, what could I do?
Well, why don't you say, look at the loon? Say it now.
Okay, look at the loon.
Look at the loon,
Uh-huh.
okay?
Look
Now,
at the loon.
what we've got to do is say, look at the loon with our mouth shut. Don't let any air out. Watch.
okay.
Look at the loon.
Okay. Is that it?
That's good. I've been doing bird calls since I was about 7 years of age. And
Did you ever get kicked out of school for it?
yes, I think I have, as a matter of fact. Certainly been reprimanded for making cricket sounds in study hall. And
These shoe-billed storks are the only ones in the Western Hemisphere. Storks are usually peaceful birds, but this species is known to bite people who get too close. Dave has taught his technique to the zoo's bird keepers, and by using the proper body language and bird calls, a keeper can get a friendly response from these normally hostile birds.
It is a lot of fun to talk to the birds. But you know, it has a real serious purpose, too. It enables aviculturists like Dave McKelvey to get closer to them, to study them, and to make better exhibits like here at the San Antonio Zoo. And we're here because you asked for it.
You know, a guy once asked me if I did bird impressions. I said, no, not really. He said, oh, that's funny because I saw you lay an egg once in Las Vegas. We'll be right back to see an egg challenge a wrecking ball. Now, that's heavy. That is really heavy.
And now back to Rich Little.
No. This is not a new way to scramble an egg. But it is a request from Ray Hunter of Cleveland, Ohio. And Ray writes, I heard about a crane operator who can use a demolition ball to move an egg on the ground without breaking it. If he can do it, I'm asking for it. Well, Ray, that was one challenge we couldn't pass up. We found your man in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Delicate tricks with a mechanical monster are his specialty. Watch this.
That ball weighs 6,000 pounds. It can smash a building into a pile of rubble in just a few hours. And in the hands of an expert operator, it can be used as delicately as a surgeon's scalpel. We found a man with that delicate touch at the FMC Heavy Equipment Manufacturing Plant in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. There, riding atop a 110,000-pound crane, was a 165-pound man preparing to go head-to-head with a 2.5-ounce egg. He's Ken Pitt, the top heavy equipment operator at the Cedar Rapids plant. Like most of us, Ken crawls to work. And like most of us, Ken starts his day with a hot cup of coffee. Unlike most of us, Ken is served by his buddy Whitey from high atop a giant excavator. It sort of adds new meaning to the words coffee machine. The first trick we set up for is the egg push. We'll be using this solid iron wrecking rectangle which weighs more than 5,000 pounds. It's usually used to push buildings off of their foundations, but Ken is going to gently push a couple of eggs across this platform without breaking them. Can he do it? Let's watch. An amazing example of man and machine being used to their fullest capacities. Now it's time to get down to business. Here we see one fragile hen's egg perched precariously atop a special stand built for this trick. Ken is at the controls concentrating. He will now attempt to lower a 6,000-pound wrecking ball on top of an egg without breaking it. Sound impossible? Let's watch. Touch the 6,000-pound wrecking ball to the top of the egg without breaking it. Because, Ken Hunter of Cleveland, Ohio, you asked for it.
You know, I love the way those human interest stories always go out with a good joke. Joke. And now Jack Smith, the host of the original You Asked For It, which was one of the longest-running shows in the history of television. Jack, what do you got for us tonight?
Well, Rich, this story is one of my personal favorites because it combines grace and elegance and a touch of genius. Now, in 1959, we captured the amazing skills of 17-year-old Darlene Gilbert and her unique style of toe skating. Now, toe skates aren't something that you can buy at your regular sporting goods store. Darlene had to solve the problem of combining ice skating and ballet all by herself, and she succeeded admirably, as you're about to see.
Patent pending. The invention of a charming young lady, Darlene Gilbert of San Francisco, all her own design for her own use. Something entirely new. Toe skates, figure skating blades on the tips of ballet slippers. To our knowledge, no one has ever performed in this manner before, skating always on her toes, the first true ballerina on ice. Darlene's still developing her new art, feels that she has a long way to go, but already she can do every standard figure except the jump. Remember, unlike ballet dancers, she can never come down off her toes. It took a lot of painful effort to perfect this. The backward glide on one toe now, a far greater problem of balance than for ordinary figure skating. Toes turned out. I'm sure you'll agree that Darlene has come a long way in her ambition to become a professional toe skater. The stationary spin on the tip of one toe. Out of the spin now. Try just standing on one toe in that difficult position. Miss Darlene Gilbert, toe skater on ice. You asked for it.
You know, I used to toe skate as a kid, Jack, and I didn't know it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I see my skates were too small for me. That may sound corny, but it was almost true. Coming up, some big-hearted animals who are among the strangest creatures on Earth. We'll be back.
And now back to Rich Little.
Did you know that giraffes not only have the longest necks in the world, but also the biggest hearts? Well, we didn't either until a letter from Jean Mitchell of Chicago, Illinois, sent our Janet Langhart to Kenya, Africa, to learn more about these gentle, magnificent creatures.
If you've ever leaned over to tie your shoes and felt dizzy when you stood up, you can appreciate the problems of being a giraffe. When a giraffe bends down to nibble his favorite thorn bush, his head travels with him, sometimes as far as 18 feet. To keep him from getting dizzy, the giraffe has a series of valves in his neck that close down when he bends over, so all the blood won't rush to his head and make him pass out. Now, when a giraffe is standing straight up, he has a different problem. Pumping blood all the way up his long neck to his head isn't any easier. The solution? A heart that's over 2 feet long, a powerful pump that keeps him on his toes. So the next time someone says, have a heart, remember the giraffe. I'm Janet Langhart in Kenya, East Africa, because you asked for it.
Gee, you know, giraffes would make great gardeners because they could trim your trees, and they're so big-hearted, they wouldn't even charge you. Remember, You Asked For It is your show, so don't hesitate to put us to work anywhere in the world. No matter how wild your idea may be, just write to You Asked For It, P.O. Box 1980, Hollywood, California, 90028. You know, to most of us, a rock is just a rock. But to the Aborigines, the original natives of Australia, Ayers Rock is the mystical base upon which all their legends were founded. Patrick Kavanagh of Goleta, California, because you asked for it, our reporter traveled to the heart of Australia to show us the Rock of the Gods.
To view the sacred rock of the Australian Aborigines is to take a journey back in time, back to the age of animism, when primitive man believed all things were inhabited by spirits. This towering rock, 1,100 feet high, was known to the Aborigines as the dwelling of Watambi, the protector of man. Tribal legends dating back to prehistory tell the story of Watambi, the sacred reptile whose spirit inhabits the mountain. To the tourist, Ayers Rock is a magnificent work of nature, and some say that it's the Australian equivalent of the Grand Canyon. But to the Aborigine, this monolith is a holy place and the origin of all their mythology. Many myths surround the mystic mountain, which the people call Uluru, Rock of the Spirits. The tourists come to see the changes of color captured in this time-lapse view, but time is trapped here in the minds and hearts of a people untouched by the ages. Among the tribes, there are still a few old storytellers who live within the shadow of the rock and are still very much under its spell. Toby Ninonga remembers the legends told around campfires in his youth. The legends he hopes to keep alive today, because Toby senses that somehow the spirit of his people lives in the stories. To this cave, Toby tells us, were brought women preparing for childbirth to be blessed by Bulari, a good spirit who protected the unborn. And this is the cave of Watambi, the sacred serpent and protector, whose image was painted on this wall by an unknown worshiper thousands of years ago. So great was the devotion to Watambi that the people believed a spring that occasionally tumbled over these rocks was created by the serpent spirit, weeping when his people were troubled. This is Desiree Goyette at Ayers Rock in Australia's outback, because Patrick Kavanagh of Goleta, California, you asked for it.
Ayers Rock. And to the Aborigines, that is really their Rock of Ages.
Rich will be right back to answer requests about his show business career on You Asked For It. And now, back to Rich Little.
You know, a lot of people write in and want to know how many commercials have I done on television. Well, I've done many, many commercials on TV and on radio over the years. I remember one time I went to Chicago to do a cigar commercial. They wanted me to do David Brinkley in a 30-second commercial. And when I got there, I got the sponsor together and the ad agency people, and I said, you know, guys, really, David Brinkley is wrong for this commercial. I mean, he doesn't smoke cigars. He doesn't smoke at all. His image is totally wrong. Why don't you use George Burns? I mean, he's always smoking a cigar. He's known for a cigar, you know, and his image would be perfect for this spot. Well, at first they didn't agree with me. And then they went in the corner and they argued for a while back and forth. And finally they came to me and they said, Rich, you know, you're right. You're absolutely right. George Burns would be perfect. So they fired me and hired George Burns. Those are the breaks. Well, we'll see you next time on You Asked For It. Good night, everybody.